The concerned doctors and citizens of the Philippines or CDCPH urged President Rodrigo Duterte to lift all lockdowns in the country to allow people to rebuild their lives amid the coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19 crisis. During the hashtag Flatten the Fear, an awareness campaign in Pasig City on Thursday, doctors, among others, presented their recommendations for the Philippines to combat COVID-19, to include early treatment protocol for the virus.
We appeal to the President to lift all lockdowns, to allow our people to begin to rebuild their lives.
The doctors in the campaign have expressed their support for the use of hydroxychloroquine for the early treatment of COVID-19, despite the World Health Organization's order to stop its use against the virus. Dr. Edwin bear that he uses and prescribes hydroxychloroquine to his patients, as he believes that earlier studies showing negative results of the drug has used a wrong form of dosages. Dr. Joel Lopez also backed the drug's use, citing that in the United States, deaths were lower in states that allowed hydroxychloroquine's use. With the group's call for the use of hydroxychloroquine as early treatment for COVID-19, CDCPH appealed to lift the lockdowns in the country.
The Philippines, Malaysia, and the U.S. He's a member of the American Academy of Family Medicine, the Singapore Royal Society of Alternative Medicine, the Philippine Medical Association. He's also the director of the Chamber of Herbal Industry, and he has radio and TV programs, as well as a newspaper column in the Filipino Mirror. Dr. Edwin LéBIEN.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Hi, let us wake up. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers of this. Maraming salamat sa inyo because you're trying to open up the eyes of many people. Secondly, I'd like to thank those who invited me to be part of the group. And this led me to be part of many other groups, including webinars. I'd like to thank also those who brought, or the person who brought the grapes, very crunchy. I suggest you try it. I've been asked or tasked by Ruby. I have not met Ruby. Ruby, hi Ruby. I've been tasked by Ruby to give a strict 5-minute talk about HCQ. I'm very much familiar with HCQ for more than 20 years. My late father was an engineer and was assigned in Liberia, in Angola, and in Zaire. And he developed the different kinds of malaria, from falciparum to ovale to vivax. And this led me also to be interested to visit and later on be assigned as well. And I went to Ethiopia and I went to Kenya. And both of us was taking hydroxychloroquine. And he did not die from the so-called congestive heart failure or heart condition that is attained, given to hydroxychloroquine. So I'm surprised last March when I read the declaration of the WHO that it can cause abnormality in the ECG, because I've been using or prescribing HCQ to my SLE patients and they're doing just fine. So instead of me dilly-dallying my 5 minutes, let us go to the next slide. I have decided to read a particular article, which is only 1 page, by one soldier from the USA. I trust and respect him because he is known, or rather he has knowledge in virology and the effect of HCQ in the virus. I respect virology because aside from being a doctor, that is also my background, I am into microbiology. So if you will permit me, this is only a page. To begin, let us address the more simple matter at hand. And this is Mike Mas talking. This is the comprehensive restoration of the economy, the treatment of all COVID-19 patients, the complete removal of the broad sword-style lockdown approach, and a return not to the new normal, but to the true normal. Let me just say we are all in this together, not as doctors over patients, not as leaders and individuals of influence, not as the educated standing tall above the uneducated, but simply as men and women united in common cause. Now let me go to hydroxychloroquine. The plan. Let me explain why and how HCQ works. Number 1, This has three primary important functions and a fourth bonus function that is broad spectrum in benefit. It has antiviral binding to host ACE2 receptor. Simply put, if the virus cannot attach itself to the cell, it cannot infect the cell. It's a shield. Anti-inflammatory effect. Should the virus find an unprotected cell and successfully infect it, inflammation usually follows. And if enough inflammation occurs, it is followed by a cytokine storm, which triggers a cascade of chemicals within the lungs, causing the immune system to become hyperactive, attacking everything in its path, even healthy lung, other organs, heart tissue. Limiting this inflammation in many cases mitigates it, hence preventing serious damage. Scientists have already established for decades the correct safe dosage, but if one exceeds this dosage, one will get failure of studies. A common denominator I have seen in most failed studies, including the withdrawn Lancet study, was overdosage. If you do not use something properly, it will likely fail. It is not rocket science, it is simply safety protocol. The overdosage led to a prolongation of the QT interval, including cardiac arrest. In simple terms, we mean heart failure. And last, regarding prevention, HCQ taken orally is still binding to the ACE2 receptor, whether or not one is infected. This means should infectious material from SARS-CoV-2 enter the body, one is accorded protective resistance.